Hello and good morning, everyone. My name is Jeff Mannion, and I am the program director here at Standard Imaging. And I also do double duty as product manager for StructSure AIQA. And I'd like to welcome you all to this webcast, this webinar. And I'd like you to, sit back, relax, and just kind of take a listen of what StructSure QA, AIQA can offer you. Actually, StructSure AIQA has been with us for about 10 years. We actually introduced it into the market, probably around 2010 timeline. And it had some modest success and things like that. But now, that especially with the advent of more auto segmentation happening in the industry, it's becoming more and more apparent for its needs. About 10 years ago or so, AutoSeg wasn't all that great. Physicists were hesitant to adopt it. That's all changed. Okay, and it's rapidly being adopted across the industry. So now physicists and physicians who are adopting this, they really need to say, so I need to do acceptance testing. I need to decide which one I want to do, which auto segmentation to even purchase, auto segmentation engine to purchase. And here is why StructSure AIQA is important to you right now. So basically three things here. It's important because you can use it to evaluate, an AutoSeg engine before you purchase. There's lots of AutoSeg engines available out there, Variant, Electa, and whatnot. And plus, there's a lot of, just the third-party vendors out there as well. And so you want to, you can how are you going to choose? And so to do it, you could take here. I want to use StructSure AIQA to do that. And by the way, let me just back up just a second. So what is StructSure AIQA? It's the first quality assurance software for auto segmentation contouring engines. It does this by comparing your AutoSeg contours with your own gold standards. Okay, so when you're evaluating a new AutoSeg engine for purchase, you would, you have your set of gold standard scans or CT scans and your segmentations and contours, and then you now want to compare that same set of data to using an AutoSeg engine, and I can show you what you're going to see here in just a few minutes. So that's a really important, use it when you're trying to evaluate a new AutoSeg engine. Number two is acceptance testing. So now you've decided on an AutoSeg engine, and so now you're going to say, hey, what structures work the best? Maybe it does really well on some contours or some structures, but not so good on the other ones. And so that way, you can make some decisions, some clinical decisions on which ones you're going to, trust a lot or maybe not so much. Okay, and then number three is vendor updates, and that is, AutoSeg engines are going to be constantly, being updated, and so just like DOS engines, they're going to be constantly updated. New modalities will be, imaging modalities will be introduced, those types of things. And so, instead of, hey, we've got this model, 2.5 now that includes the small bowel, so it, so you can use that for, even doing some regression testing on, hey, it used to do this really well, but now it doesn't. So again, it's a great tool for evaluating auto segmentation engines. Okay, so let's go take a look at the software itself. It's really quite easy to use. And let me just bring this up. Everybody should be able to see that. StructSure AIQA it's basically a desktop application, and it's really simple to use. And so let's start off at the top here. And here we've got, you just load the data. So what are we going to be loading? We're going to be loading your CT set. So that's real simple. You can just do it by file, or if you want to do it by selected images, you can. But in this particular case, I'll check a file. And so great, we'll go ahead and do that, and we load it all in. So that's all set to go. And so then we select our primary structure set. This is the set, this is your gold standard. This is the one that you guys have in your clinics. You say, yep, this is the one that we always trust. This is the best one that we have. Great. So then we load all of that in, and you'll notice here, as it loaded it in, it says, yeah, here are all the structures that I found. Okay. And then we have the secondary set, and this is like, what you're going to be checking against. So in this particular case, let's say this is from an autoseg engine that you're evaluating, or you're doing some regression testing on, or that sort of thing. And so you bring that set in, and it loads it in, great, and it too says, well, here are all of the structures that I found, and this is the set that actually matches the first set. Okay, so if for example, if I have a bunch of contours in my autoseg that does not match the primary set, my gold set, it will not do a comparison. Okay, because it doesn't exist between the two. So then what we do is we go ahead and load the data, and now we come up to this screen here, and we can see a lot of things happening here. Okay, so as you can see, we have your main view screen of the CTs. Here we've got this kind of nice navigation plane window, and then over here we have a region of interest table that I'll explain here in just a moment. So on the navigation planes, if I grab it, I can move things. I can go up here and say, hey, look at that. I can move to an area of interest that I'm really looking for. All righty, something like that, let's say. All right, and then over on this side here on the right-hand side, let me see if I can grab something that's a little bit more easier to see. Yeah, here we go. As we can see here, the solid line here, that's your primary, that's your gold standard. So you can see here where it, drew its contour. This is where, your gold set. And then the dashed line is where the autoseg engine did its contouring. You can see some differences here. You can see where it went a little bit beyond, and it did. And then over on the left-hand side, you can see the different key in terms of all of the structures or the organs that it's outlining. On the left-hand side here, we have all of those pieces again, but now we could do a little eye right there. We can decide if we're going to show them or not. So we can turn those things on or off. Let's see here. We can turn this one on or off, as you can see, depending on what you want to zoom in on. Okay. We also have some nice little tools along the way here, like some auto leveling we can do here in terms of the imaging and that sort of thing. Some basics on that side. Okay. So now what we want to do is say, hey, we want to do an analysis now. We want to do a little bit deeper dive on, so what are we exactly seeing here? What are the differences? And so we can, on the left-hand side here, you see this table, and here again, here are all the regions of interest, by name. And then we also have a metric method. Now, right here, we're just saying it's default linear, and I'll get into this just a little bit more detail in a minute, but we could have several, okay, that we've put into here. But anyway, let's say we're just for this particular example, this particular demonstration, I'm just gonna say, hey, we're just gonna do everything as the default linear. Great, no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the calculate button, and you'll notice on the right-hand side here, things start to get interesting. So here we've got the areas. We're showing what is in common, where we think the autoseg engine really missed in terms of giving too much or not enough. Let's take a look at that. So for example, right here you'll notice that on this blue area where it's kind of colder blue, this is where the autoseg engine missed. It did not agree with whatever, or didn't see what the gold standard had, and so it shows this in blue. Here in the red, it shows, hey, it gave too much. The autoseg actually over-radiated in this particular area. See if I can find a different one here that maybe shows a little bit better. Yeah, you can see even more right here. And if I go up a little bit further, there's another good example. Yeah, right here. You'll notice on the brainstem right here, it looks like it overshot here, and then but undershot on this particular area. But that's all just from a visual standpoint. We can kind of get a quick visual on what it did and what didn't do in terms of the matching. By the way, just over on the side here, we got a nice little slider here that helps you. You want to, hey, I want to take a look. Well, what was underneath that again? Let me see. Oh yeah, right. Okay, I get it now. I can bring this back in a little bit and see what the differences are. But on the here on the as we move forward here, we have the analysis piece right here. Now we start to break things down. Okay, so on the left-hand side here, again, those are all those regions of interest. It matches everything on this table. And as I start to, click my way through it, you'll notice that on the bottom here, the table, these tabs will reflect what I've ever got highlighted in the table here. Okay, so again, they're organized by region of interest, or I can do it from here too. I can just go flip around. And so what do we all got right here? Let's see, find something that's a little bit more interesting. How about this one? Okay, so here, of course, we have all of the data, the numbers. And so we have the volume one, it's all in cubic centimeters. And that's that is your gold standard. And so here's how much cubic centimeters it found on the optic nerve, the right optic nerve on for volume one. That'd be the gold standard. For volume two, that's your autoseg. And by the way, I keep saying autoseg, but it could be anything. It could be like, say, a dosimetrist or somebody else actually did the contouring, and you want to check to see how well they're doing. From even just a human to human type of thing. But again, autoseg is it's really made for this kind of thing. So anyway, excuse me. We have volume number two. So what's in common? Oops, I didn't want to do that. So what's in common? Great. And so in cubic centimeters, 0.392. What was missing? And what was extra? Again, the extra. Remember, we had that in red in our other, this kind of thing. Where so missing was, in blue, and then extra was in red, and we see that reflected over here too. So extra and missing, and then we have a dice coefficient for everybody that knows about dice coefficients, and then of course the max difference between the two. Now, this is kind of interesting. This is your StructSure scoring. And again, that I'll get into that just in a few moments here, but that is user settable. Okay, that's something that you can either relax your criteria. So maybe, instead of 1 millimeter difference or 2 millimeter difference before you move into a warning, yellow. Actually, I'm going to make that larger, say 3 or something like that. Or no, I'm really going to crank it down so that I've got a very low tolerance. Okay, so that is all user settable, and I'll get to that in just a few moments here. And down here, we have your distance volume histogram. And basically, again, what you're seeing here is here's this right here in the center. Here is where all the most common voxels. Right here in the middle in at 0.39, and then as we move away from it every millimeter, okay, then we start to see how many total voxels from a histogram standpoint were missing, or the autoseg missed. And then on the right hand side, what was where did it over radiate? Right through here, what was the percentage of voxels that did actually over radiate all the way out to 10 millimeters in this particular case? What you hope to see, and like for example here, it's pretty strong, something like that. It's like you don't want to see that, of course, but this was just for demonstration purposes, but more like this, where you've got a strong agreement. And and then where you disagree is very, very, very close, again, to the center here. So this is a very, very good one. On the right-hand side, you've got more of a breakdown of here. Here it is, the thyroid. All the metrics that you want with it. Again, all of this stuff is right here for you. And then here's the breakdown, you know, per voxel, all of that. So all great data that you can grab and, you know, do what you wish with it. So there we have all of that. So one of the things that I wanted to just talk about just a little bit here was your metric preferences, okay? So let's take a look at that. Okay, yeah, great. And basically here is where you can set up your different metrics. If you look over here, we could set up different ones. You could just create a brand new one. You can add a new method and you say, okay, well, what's my forgiveness? You know, okay, one, you know, in millimeters, okay, that sort of thing. So then you create like a new one. So for example, new, and you know, and I can just put down, you know, new, oops. That's not doing it for me right at the moment, but you know, and then I could say E 1.0 for my forgiveness, and then I can be, you know, as far as, you know, A, B, C, and D in terms of other things. It's all in the user manual here. It breaks down pretty tightly, but we can adjust those as well. So all kinds of metrics that you can, you know, on the fly create, and then you know, give it a name. And then you use that then as your next time you decide to do a comparison and using, you know, whatever one that you want. Okay, so it even has like a little thing here on what the metric scores, you know, what the math is for all of that. So right, oh yeah, I'm sorry, here the upper cutoff and the lower cutoff. All right, and go ahead. Yeah, no, we don't want to save that. You also have, oh, and then there is we have a rules. Second here, just get rid of that. Here is a nice thing here. We have something called, you know, you can create new, basically a synonyms and things like that. So let's say, you know, hey, for whatever reason, you know, the names of my structures don't match what's in StructSure AIQA. That's fine. You can create synonyms for it so that when it does look through it, it goes, hey, is there a synonym for this? Yes, there is. You know, it still means right eye, you know, RTI, or just R space I means right eye, you know, that kind of thing. So that way, if you do have differences between whatever StructSure has and you do in your clinic, you can map the two together easily. So, and then finally, probably one of the more interesting things here, and I can only show just a little. Oh, we do actually full reports. You can put together a full report on all of this in multi-page, you know, with thumbnails and all of that. So here, I can put together a quick report. It's all in PDFs, and there's a variety of different reports that you can do. This might take a few moments. I might have pushed the wrong button because it's got a lot of data, and mostly the images is trying to collect for putting thumbnails together. So, oh, I may be penalized here, fans. So wait a moment here. Talk amongst yourselves as we look for this. Wait for this stuff. Yeah, shouldn't have done that one. There we go. Hey, oops. Yeah, you can't really see this, but here. There we go. We should be able to see that now, and you can see all the different reports that'll put together. It puts basically everything that you want on a PDF, including thumbnails and exactly what the differences were. All of this is very, very thorough. So, or you can put together different reports, you know, just a one-pager, you know, that kind of a thing, just showing basically it's a what you see is what you get type of thing. So, and all of that. And then finally, but there is one other feature here, and we call this a batch analysis right here. And basically what you're going to do is you put together a spreadsheet on, you know, basically where are the locations of all of your CT sets. So you'll say, okay, here's my gold standard. Okay, great. This is where all the and where the contours are. So where does that data lie? And so you basically have path names in there. And then against and you could have many in here. You could have as many as you want. And then you're going to compare that against an autoseg engine, and you can, again, have as many as you want. You just basically map the two together there. It's very simple. It's a very simple little procedure. And then once you hit the go button, it will then perform all of that analysis and spit it out in a CSV file. And so you'll have basically everything that you see at this top, this and all of this for each of the structures. It won't show up on your on the application because it's just too much data, and for to actually do well from a desktop application. So, but it's still all there in a spreadsheet for you to look through and do whatever you want with the data in terms of analysis. You can even put together simple charts and things like that using Excel and those types of things. So, so again, you can see here why using StructSure is a great idea, is a great product, StructSure AIQA, for using it to one, evaluate your autoseg engine that you're thinking about purchasing. I mean, you guys have a lot of leverage. You could say, hey, I'm thinking about purchasing this autoseg engine, and can I get like a demo license on it? It's just so I want to try it out. I want to kick the tires. StructSure AIQA is a way for you to do that. It's a way to it's a perfect way to organize and produce objective evidence of, is this a good engine or not? Is the Electa model working best? Is the Varian model working best? Or any of the third-party companies that are popping up across the industry and doing really good work, like for example, Limbus AI, or any of the other half dozen or so AI seg companies that are emerging. So again, use it before you buy it so that you can make good buying decisions. Number two, acceptance testing. Use it for commissioning or acceptance testing before you use it clinically. Let's say, so again, you decided on an autoseg engine. So now it's time to go figure out, what do we trust? What don't we trust? That sort of thing. What certain organs of the model are really good, the other ones are not so great. You are going to have to make those decisions, and using StructSure AIQA is it's an objective way to do it. Just kind of it's difficult just to look at them and say, hey, do you like them or not? You like the results? It's not scientific. It doesn't lend itself to automation. It's inefficient, and of course, doing it that way is very subjective. Again, by using StructSure AIQA, you'll have evidence of what organs it's doing well, what organs it's not. Again, so use it before you buy it, and use it for acceptance testing. And finally, number three, for vendor updates. As new updates come from these vendors, and again, it's going to be coming rapidly. You use it to just check to see what are the differences. Hey, they added this new bowel segmentation, bowels now. Does it do a very good job? Well, take a look at that. Great, it does, or it doesn't. Or hey, you know what? It used to do a great job on some of these structures over here, but now it's like screwed up, so they kind of broke something along the way here. What's up with that? Again, use it for regression testing. StructSure is not something, of course, that you use like every day, all the time, that kind of a thing, but it's something that you use for, for autoseg, looking for one, doing acceptance testing, and vendor updates. So that concludes my presentation. If anybody has any questions, go ahead and pop it in the little question, the chat window. Otherwise, you can send any questions to sales@standardimaging.com, or myself, and that's Jay Mannion, M-A-N-I-O-N, at standardimaging.com. Well, thank you. I don't see any questions popping up, so that's maybe a good thing. I hope I was able to give you a quick, brief run over of StructSure. If you would like a deeper dive, please, give me a ring, shoot me an email, and I'll be able to go through things, step by step with you. and show you how even a deeper dive into the things that we can't get done, in a half-hour presentation. Excuse me. Well, thank you all very much. Have yourself a great rest of your day, and I hope to be hearing from you soon. And again, StructSure AI QA. Bye now.